Before we begin, please remember that the information in this presentation is for educational and informational purposes only. The world of MBA admissions is highly competitive and constantly evolving. Following the advice in this video does not, under any circumstances, guarantee admission into any specific program. Every application is unique, and admissions committees consider a vast array of factors in their holistic review process. He had a 780 GMAT, a near-perfect score. He had a 3.9 GPA in electrical engineering from a top-tier public university. He spent 4 years at one of the most respected tech companies on the planet, with 2 promotions and glowing reviews. On paper, he was the perfect candidate for Stanford, Harvard, and Wharton. He was a slam dunk, and he got rejected from every single one. Not even a wait list. Flat-out rejection. Why? Because his perfect stats and his pristine resume were a Trojan horse. They hid a fatal flaw. A mistake so common and so subtle that most applicants don't even realize they're making it until that thin rejection envelope arrives. This person, and thousands more just like him every single year, are the perfect applicants who fail. They are the brilliant, hardworking, and highly accomplished individuals who do everything right and still get it all wrong. They fall victim to the unwritten rules of the MBA admissions game, and that is exactly why we are here. This isn't going to be another video telling you to be authentic or proofread your essays. That's table stakes. That's like telling an aspiring Olympian to try hard. Over the next several parts, we are going to dismantle the entire application process and expose the critical, counterintuitive mistakes that sabotage otherwise stellar candidates. We're going to give you the strategic framework that separates the top 1% of applicants who get in from the 99% who are left wondering what went wrong. By the end of this, you will understand the psychology of an admissions officer, and you will have a playbook to build an application that is not just impressive, but absolutely irresistible. So let's get straight to it. The first, and arguably the most destructive mistake you can make, is what I call the checklist catastrophe. It's treating your MBA application like a job application. You've spent your entire life being rewarded for checking boxes. Good grades? Check. High test scores? Check. Prestigious employer? Check. Promotions? Check. You've built a resume that is a monument to your achievements. So, naturally, when you approach the MBA application, you think your job is to simply present this monument in the best possible light. You write essays that are basically just your resume in prose form. I led a team of 5 and increased efficiency by 20%. I managed a multi-million-dollar project and delivered it under budget. I was ranked in the top 5% of analysts. Check, check, check. You think you're showing them how accomplished you are. What you're actually showing them is that you fundamentally misunderstand the entire point of the application. Here is the absolute truth. An admissions committee is not a hiring manager. A hiring manager is looking for a cog to fit into a pre-existing machine. They have a specific role with specific needs, and they are evaluating you on your proven ability to perform that role. Your past accomplishments are direct evidence of your future performance in that same job. It is a validation of your past. An MBA admissions committee, the AdCom, is doing the exact opposite. They are not hiring you for a job. They are making a long-term investment in your potential. They aren't looking for a cog for their machine. They are looking for raw, unpolished leadership potential that they can forge into a future CEO, a groundbreaking entrepreneur, or a world-changing nonprofit leader. They are not validating your past. They are betting on your future. Your past accomplishments are not the destination. They are merely the data points in a story that projects a future trajectory. When you submit a checklist application, you are giving them data points without a story. You're giving them a list of what you did, but you're completely ignoring the who, the how, and most importantly, the why. The AdCom reader is left with a flat, two-dimensional picture of a high achiever. And guess what? Their desk is buried under a mountain of applications from two-dimensional high achievers. A 760 GMAT from a management consultant is not a differentiator. It's the cost of entry. Leading a successful project at a Fortune 500 company is not unique. It is the norm. The checklist applicant bores the admissions committee. An aboard AdCom reader is a rejecting AdCom reader. They read your essay about increasing profits by 15%, and they feel nothing. They don't see the struggle. They don't see the late nights you spent agonizing over a spreadsheet, the difficult conversation you had to have with an underperforming team member, the moment of panic when you thought the entire project would fail, and the creative spark you had in the shower that ended up saving it. They don't see your character. They just see a number. So, how do you fix this? You have to make a fundamental mindset shift. You are not a candidate applying for a job. You are the protagonist in a story, and your application is the script. Your story has a past where you've been, a present why you need an MBA now, and a future where you are going. Your accomplishments are not the story itself. They are the plot points that reveal your character and drive the narrative forward. Let's make this concrete. The checklist applicant writes. As project manager, I was responsible for a team of 8 engineers to develop a new software product. I successfully managed the timeline and budget, delivering the product 2 weeks ahead of schedule, which resulted in a 10% increase in departmental revenue. It's factual. It's impressive. It's also completely forgettable. The protagonist applicant writes. The hum of the server room at 2 a.m. had become my soundtrack. My team was 2 weeks from a critical deadline, and our biggest client had just thrown a wrench in the works. A demand for a new feature that was technically impossible. My lead engineer said it couldn't be done. The VP said to stick to the original plan. But I saw the flicker of an idea in the eyes of our junior developer, the one everyone usually ignored. I made a call that went against my VP's direct advice. I pulled the team into a room, threw out the old plan, and we whiteboarded a radical new approach based on that junior developer's spark. It was a huge risk. It meant admitting to my superiors that our initial plan was flawed. But that moment taught me that leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about creating an environment where the best answer can emerge, no matter who it comes from. We didn't just deliver the product. We transformed our team's entire creative process. Do you see the difference? The first example is a statement of fact. The second is a story of leadership. The first shows what you did. The second shows who you are. It reveals vulnerability, risk-taking, humility, and an insight about leadership that you can only gain through experience. That is what gets you into Harvard. That is what an AdCom reader remembers at the end of a 12-hour day of reading 1,000 essays. Your job is to go through every single component of your application, your essays, your short answers, even your resume bullet points, and transform them from checklist items into narrative plot points. For every accomplishment, don't just ask, what did I do? Ask, what does this moment say about my character? What was the conflict? What did I learn about myself? How did I change as a result? The AdCom is building a class. They are curating a diverse community of 900 unique individuals who will challenge each other, learn from each other, and grow with each other. A checklist of accomplishments doesn't tell them how you'll contribute to a late-night study group, or what perspective you'll bring to a heated classroom debate on business ethics. Your story does. They are not admitting your resume, they are admitting you, the whole you, the person behind the numbers, the protagonist. Avoiding this first mistake, the checklist catastrophe, is the single most important step you can take. It's the foundation upon which your entire application strategy must be built, because if you get this wrong, nothing else matters. Your 780 GMAT will not save you. Your promotion at Google will not save you. You'll end up just like that perfect candidate. Another brilliant, accomplished, and utterly forgettable applicant in the rejection pile. But shifting from a checklist mindset to a storytelling mindset is only half the battle. Even with a compelling story, you can still make a catastrophic error if you fail to understand the deep, underlying motivations of your audience, the admissions committee itself. And that failure to demonstrate a true understanding of the school's unique DNA is the second fatal flaw we need to dissect. Think of it this way. Applying to a top MBA program isn't like applying for a job. It's like a courtship. You're not just submitting a resume. You're trying to convince a highly selective, intelligent, and frankly sought-after partner that you are the perfect fit for them, and they are the perfect fit for you. Now imagine going on a first date and saying, I find your physical attractiveness, socioeconomic potential, and geographic location to be optimal among the candidates I am currently evaluating. That's a disaster. It's cold, transactional, and devoid of any real connection. Yet, this is precisely what thousands of applicants do every year. They write a brilliant, well-structured essay about their goals and accomplishments, and then they simply do a find and replace for Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, Booth, and Kellogg. They treat these unique, living, breathing institutions like interchangeable commodities. This is the generic application trap, and for an admissions officer who reads hundreds of essays a day, it's as obvious as a typo in the first sentence. It is the kiss of death. Let's paint a picture. Meet 2 applicants, both with identical stellar stats. 760 GMAT, 3.9 GPA from a great school, 4 years at a top consulting firm. On paper, they are clones. Let's call them Jessica and Ben. Jessica writes her essay for Harvard Business School. She talks about HBS's world-renowned brand, its prestigious faculty, and the power of its global alumni network. She mentions her desire to learn via the case method. Everything she says is true. It's polished, professional, and completely and utterly generic. An admissions officer reads it and thinks, okay, another sharp consultant. She's definitely qualified. Next. Then they open Ben's application. Ben is also applying to HBS. But his essay is different. He doesn't just mention the case method. He talks about sitting in on Professor Francis Free's leadership class during a campus visit and how a specific debate about Uber's turnaround strategy challenged his own assumptions about corporate culture, directly relating it to a project he led at his firm. He doesn't just mention the powerful alumni network. He names 2 specific HBS alumni in the social impact space that he's already spoken with, and explains how their advice has already shaped his post-MBA goal of launching a sustainable energy startup. He doesn't just say prestigious faculty. He identifies a lesser-known professor at the HBS Social Enterprise Initiative, whose niche research on public-private partnerships is the exact expertise he needs to make his venture a reality. Who gets the interview? It's not even a competition. Jessica's application says, I want an MBA from a top school, and you are one of them. Ben's application screams, I have to be at Harvard Business School, and only Harvard Business School, because it is the only place on earth I can achieve my very specific, well-researched dream. I have done the work. I understand your DNA. I belong here. Admissions committees are not hiring managers filling a role. They are curators. They are architects building a community. They have a sacred duty to create a diverse, dynamic, and cohesive class of around 900 people who will not only succeed for the next 2 years, but who will also contribute to the school's legacy for the next 50. They are looking for students who will be hyper-engaged, who will lead clubs, organize conferences, and enrich the classroom discussions for everyone else. A generic applicant gives no evidence they will do any of that. They signal that they are a tourist just passing through to collect a credential. So how do you avoid this trap? How do you become Ben, not Jessica? It requires a level of research that goes far, far beyond browsing the school's main website. You need to become a genuine expert on the school you're applying to. This is your mission. First, you go deep. Forget the homepage and the marketing brochures. Read the student newspaper online. What are students actually talking about, debating, and celebrating? Follow the official school accounts on social media, but more importantly, find the student clubs. See what the Tech Club, the Energy Club, or the Follies, the Comedy Sketch Club, are posting. This is the unfiltered, ground-level culture. Watch recordings of class lectures on YouTube. Listen to podcasts featuring students and professors. Find student-run blogs and read their authentic, unvarnished accounts of life on campus. Your goal is to develop a real, tangible feel for the place. Its humor, its values, its quirks, its soul. Second, you have to connect with the people. This is non-negotiable. Reach out to current students and recent alumni on LinkedIn. Don't just send a generic "Can I pick your brain?" message. Do your homework first. Find someone with a similar background or similar career goals. Your message should be specific. Hi David. I saw from your profile that you transitioned from consulting into venture capital after Booth. I'm hoping to make a similar pivot and was particularly drawn to Booth because of the Polsky Center. I'd be grateful for 15 minutes of your time to hear about your experience with it. This shows you respect their time and have a genuine, targeted interest. These conversations are where you find the gold. You'll hear about the unwritten rules, the can't-miss classes, the professors who will change your life. These are the details that will make your essays come alive. Third, and this is the critical final step, you must apply the YS litmus test to every single sentence in your school-specific essays. For every claim you make, ask yourself, could I write this exact same sentence in my application to another top 5 school? If the answer is yes, delete it and start over. I am drawn to Wharton's rigorous quantitative curriculum. Fails the test. So are Stanford, Booth, and MIT. What specific class? Taught by what specific professor? Using what specific methodology? Makes Wharton's curriculum uniquely suited for you. I hope to leverage Kellogg's collaborative student culture. Fails the test. Every school claims to be collaborative. What specific tradition, like the Kellogg marketing competition or the Quest trips, demonstrates that collaborative culture in a way that resonates with your personal story? You need to show, not just tell. It's not about name-dropping a list of clubs or professors you found on the website. That's just a more sophisticated version of the generic application. It's about weaving these specific, unique elements of the school into the very fabric of your own narrative. You have to connect the dots for the admissions committee. Don't just say you want to join the tech club. Explain what you will contribute to the club based on your past experience, and what you hope to learn from the club's annual tech trek to Silicon Valley that is essential for your future goals. It's always about connecting their resources to your story. This process is arduous. It takes dozens, if not hundreds, of hours for each school. But this is the work that separates the admits from the waitlists. It shows the ultimate form of respect. It tells the admissions committee, I see you. I understand what makes you special. And I have invested the time to show you how I will uniquely contribute to, and benefit from, this incredible community you have built. But all this incredible school-specific research is completely useless. It falls flat if it's not anchored to a clear, compelling, and believable vision for your future. Because even the most perfectly tailored application can't save a story that doesn't make sense. And that brings us to the third cardinal sin. The career goals essay that reads more like a fantasy novel than a strategic plan. Let's be honest, the admissions committee at Harvard Business School isn't looking for the next J.R.R. Tolkien. They're looking for the next CEO, the next groundbreaking entrepreneur, the next leader who can actually execute a plan. And when your career goals essay reads like a pitch for a sci-fi blockbuster, you're sending a massive red flag. You're signaling that you're disconnected from reality. This mistake is incredibly common, and it comes from a place of good intentions. You want to sound ambitious. You want to stand out. You've been told your whole life to dream big. So you write about launching a fleet of autonomous, solar-powered drones to solve world hunger within 3 years of graduating. Or you plan to become the CEO of a Fortune 50 company by age 35. It sounds impressive, right? Wrong. It sounds naive. Admissions committees or AdComs are not just gatekeepers. They're investors. They are investing a coveted spot in their class in you. They are betting that you will succeed, that you will become an influential alum who gives back, hires fellow graduates, and enhances the school's brand. And just like any savvy investor, they are looking for a solid business plan, not a lottery ticket. Your career goals essay is that business plan. So what does a fantasy novel essay look like in practice? Let's imagine an applicant. We'll call her Sarah. Sarah is a brilliant financial analyst at a major investment bank. She's got a great GMAT score, solid work experience. In her essay for, say, Wharton, she writes, my short-term goal is to launch a revolutionary fintech venture capital fund immediately upon graduation that will exclusively invest in companies that use blockchain to eradicate poverty. My long-term goal is to leverage this fund to become a global philanthropist and advisor to the World Bank. On the surface, it's noble. It's ambitious. But an AdCom reader sees something else. They see a dozen unanswered questions. Where is the capital for this VC fund coming from? Does Sarah have any experience raising funds or managing a portfolio of high-risk startups? How does her experience as an analyst, which is mostly about execution and modeling, translate into sourcing deals and leading a firm? Why does she need an MBA to do this immediately after graduation? A time when most graduates are seeking structured roles to pay down debt and gain more operational experience. The bridge from her past to her future is missing. It's a leap of faith, and AdComs don't deal in faith. They deal in evidence. The core of a powerful career goals essay isn't just about the what. It's about the how and the why. It's about creating a logical, compelling narrative that connects your past experiences, your need for an MBA, and your future aspirations. Think of it as a 3-act play. Act 1 is your past. It's the foundation. What skills have you built? What experiences have shaped you? What have you accomplished? This isn't just a resume regurgitation. It's about synthesizing your journey and identifying the specific skills and insights you've gained. Act 2 is the MBA itself, the crucial turning point. This is where so many applicants falter. They write generic platitudes like, I need an MBA from Kellogg to enhance my leadership skills and expand my network. That's like saying you need food to stop being hungry. It's true, but it's meaningless. You need to be surgically precise. Why this MBA program? Which specific classes will fill your knowledge gaps? Which professors are doing research that aligns with your goals? Which student clubs will give you hands-on experience? Which specific alumni are in roles you aspire to, proving there's a path from this school to your goal? You need to show that you have done your homework, and that this program is the only logical catalyst to get you from Act 1 to Act 3. And Act 3 is your future. This is your career goal, but it needs to be grounded in reality. It must be a logical extension of your past experiences, plus the skills and network you'll gain from the MBA. Let's go back to Sarah and rewrite her story. Instead of a fantasy, she presents a strategic plan. Her new essay might sound something like this. During my 4 years as a financial analyst, I specialized in the fintech sector, where I modeled the growth of over 50 early-stage companies. While I developed strong analytical skills, I recognized a critical gap in my experience. I lacked the operational and strategic leadership training needed to move from analyzing businesses to actually building one. My short-term goal is to transition into a strategy and operations role at a high-growth fintech company like Stripe or Plaid. This will allow me to gain first-hand experience in scaling a business, managing product life cycles, and leading cross-functional teams, experiences I cannot get in my current role. See the difference? It's specific. It's logical. It identifies a clear gap that an MBA can fill. Now for Act 2, the Why Wharton part. Wharton is the ideal place to facilitate this pivot. I plan to major in entrepreneurship and innovation and take courses like Professor Ethan Mollick's Innovation and Entrepreneurship to build a framework for venture creation. The opportunity to participate in the Venture Initiation Program would provide a real-world lab to test and refine business ideas. Furthermore, I am eager to take a leadership role in the FinTech Club, specifically to help organize the annual conference, which will allow me to build relationships with the very leaders in companies, like Stripe and Plaid, where I hope to work post-MBA. This is no longer a generic statement. It's a targeted plan of action. She has shown the AdCom exactly how she will use their resources. She's not a passive consumer of the brand. She's an active participant. Finally, her Act 3, the long-term goal, can still be incredibly ambitious. My long-term vision is to leverage my initial post-MBA operational experience to found my own venture capital firm, focused on financial inclusion. My time at a company like Stripe will provide the credibility, network, and deep industry understanding necessary to successfully raise a fund and identify promising startups. While my ultimate goal is to use capital as a tool for social impact, I understand that building a foundation of practical, operational expertise is the critical first step to earning the right to pursue that vision. This version of Sarah's story is 100 times more compelling. It's still ambitious, it's still world-changing, but it's believable. It shows self-awareness, strategic thinking, and a deep respect for the journey. She isn't asking the AdCom to bet on a dream. She's inviting them to invest in a well-researched, credible plan. So, when you sit down to write your career goals essay, put away the fantasy novel. Pick up a blueprint. Don't tell them about the magnificent castle you want to build on a cloud. Show them the foundation you've already laid. Explain why their MBA program has the exact tools and materials you need, and then give them a detailed, step-by-step architectural plan for the skyscraper you're going to build. Your ambition should be the North Star that guides your story, not a black hole that swallows its logic. But even with a rock-solid career plan, many applicants sabotage themselves by making another critical error. They meticulously craft their professional story but completely forget to show the admissions committee who they are as a person. And that leads us to the fourth mistake, the one-dimensional applicant. They focus so intensely on proving they're a competent professional that they forget to prove they're a compelling human being. Imagine you're an admissions officer at a top school. You have a stack of 500 applications on your desk, and it's only Tuesday. Every single person in that stack is smart. Every single one has a great GMAT score, a high GPA, and impressive work experience. They've all led teams, managed projects, and hit targets. After reading the first 50 applications, a strange sense of déjà vu sets in. The profiles start to blend together. Consultant from a top firm, banker from a bulge bracket, engineer from a big tech company. The resumes are nearly identical. The essays talk about financial modeling, market entry strategy, and stakeholder management. It's a sea of professional jargon and corporate achievement. Now, in that stack of 500, imagine you come across an application from an investment banker. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah has a 760 GMAT, a 3.9 GPA from an Ivy League school. Her work experience at Goldman Sachs is impeccable. She's worked on billion-dollar deals. Her recommenders say she's a superstar. On paper, she is the perfect candidate. But when you read her essays, all you see is more of the same. She writes about a complex M&A deal she worked on. She talks about the quantitative analysis she performed. She describes her leadership style in the context of closing a transaction. Her entire application is a monument to her professional competence. But that's all it is. You know what Sarah does, but you have no idea who Sarah is. What does she do on a Saturday? What does she care about besides her career? What makes her laugh? What has she struggled with and overcome in her personal life? You have no idea. She's a resume, not a person. She is one-dimensional. Then you pick up the next file. Let's call him David. David is a product manager from a smaller tech company. His GMAT is a 730, very strong, but not quite Sarah's 760. His GPA is a 3.7. Solid, but again not Sarah's 3.9. But then you read his essays. In one essay he talks about his work, yes, but he frames it around a time he had to rally a demoralized team after a product launch failed. He doesn't just talk about the strategy. He talks about the human element, the late-night pizza, the one-on-one conversations, the moment he realized his own vulnerability was the key to earning his team's trust. And then, in his other essays and short answers, you learn more. You learn that for the last 3 years, David has volunteered as a coach for a youth soccer team in an underserved community. He writes with passion about teaching a shy, uncoordinated kid how to score his first goal, and the explosion of joy on the boy's face. You learn he's an avid homebrewer, and he nerds out about the chemistry of fermentation, comparing it to the iterative process of product development. In the optional essay, he writes a short, vulnerable piece about caring for his father during a serious illness, and how that experience reshaped his perspective on what strength really means. Now, who are you more interested in meeting? Who do you think will contribute more to the classroom discussions? Who would you want to have on your team for a group project? Who is more likely to become an engaged, active alumnus who gives back to the school community? It's David. And it's not even close. Sarah made the mistake of thinking the MBA application is a job interview on steroids. It's not. A business school isn't hiring an employee. It's building a community. It's curating a diverse, dynamic, and interesting class of human beings who will spend 2 years learning from, challenging, and supporting each other. They want people with different perspectives, different passions, and different life experiences. They want the person who can talk about discounted cash flow analysis, but also the person who can organize the class ski trip, or lead a discussion on ethics inspired by a documentary they saw, or start a wine club. The one-dimensional applicant is a huge red flag for admissions committees because they are a risk. They risk being a classroom ghost, someone who shows up, does the work, gets the grades, but adds nothing to the social or cultural fabric of the school. They risk being someone who can't connect with their classmates on a human level, making them a poor team member. And frankly, they risk being, well, boring. So how do you avoid this trap? How do you make sure you're presenting a 3D version of yourself? It starts with a deep, and sometimes uncomfortable process of self-reflection. You need to look beyond your professional accomplishments. I want you to grab a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On the left side, list your professional achievements. On the right side, list your personal achievements. What are you proud of that has nothing to do with your job? Did you run a marathon? Master a difficult piece of music? Did you organize a reunion for your college friends that everyone still talks about? Did you build a piece of furniture with your own 2 hands? Did you overcome a deep personal fear like public speaking? Don't filter yourself. Don't judge whether something is impressive enough. The goal here is to create an inventory of your life outside of the office. These are the raw materials of your story. Once you have that list, pick 1 or 2 items that truly resonate with you. Now you're going to apply the so what test. You ran a marathon. So what? What does that say about you? It says you have discipline. It says you can commit to a long-term goal. It says you have grit and can push through pain and exhaustion. You taught yourself to code. So what? It shows you have intellectual curiosity. It shows you're a self-starter. It shows you're not afraid to tackle something complex and unfamiliar. You see, the activity itself is less important than the qualities it reveals about you. You don't need to have climbed Mount Everest or started a nonprofit in Africa. An authentic story about your passion for competitive barbecue and the community you've built around it can be far more powerful than a manufactured-sounding story about a 1-week volunteer trip. Authenticity is everything. The admissions committee has read thousands of essays. They can smell inauthenticity a mile away. Now, where do you showcase this multidimensional self? Everywhere. Weave it into your essays. If the prompt asks about a time you led a team, you don't have to choose a work example. Your story about captaining your college ultimate frisbee team to a championship might be a much better illustration of your leadership style. Use the short answer questions. Many applications will have questions like, what are your hobbies? Or, what do you do for fun? I repeat, do not just write reading, travel, and sports. This is a wasted opportunity. It's the equivalent of putting vanilla as your favorite ice cream. Tells them nothing. Be specific. Specificity brings your personality to life. Instead of travel, write solo backpacking through Patagonia and documenting my journey on a travel blog. Instead of sports, write playing center midfielder in a highly competitive men's soccer league and organizing our team's post-game strategy sessions over tacos. See the difference? One is a generic label. The other is a mini-story that paints a picture of a real person. Even your resume has a place for this. That little additional information or interest section at the bottom is prime real estate. Don't waste it. A single line that reads interests, certified barbecue judge, aspiring bluegrass banjo player, completing the New York Times crossword puzzle, in ink, every Sunday, can be the most memorable line on the entire page. It's a hook. It's a conversation starter. It makes the person reading it smile and think, this is someone I'd like to get a beer with. And that, ultimately, is the goal. You want the admissions officer to feel like they know you. You want them to root for you. You want them to be able to advocate for you in the admissions committee meeting, not just by listing your stats but by telling your story. They need to be able to say, and we have to admit David. He's the guy who coaches the youth soccer team and brews his own beer. He's going to bring such a great energy to campus. By presenting a one-dimensional, all-business application, you're asking the admissions committee to take a gamble. By showing them the full, complex, interesting human being you are, you're making it an easy choice. You're showing them you're not just a future CEO. You're a future leader of their community. But even after an applicant has masterfully presented their professional achievements and their personal character, they can still completely sabotage their chances with the very next mistake. They fail to connect the dots. They fail to answer the most important question of all. Why here? And that leads us directly to our fifth common mistake, the generic "why our school?" essay. It's the single most predictable, and yet most common, reason a stellar candidate gets waitlisted or worse, flat out rejected. Imagine an admissions officer at, say, Kellogg. They've just read your file. Your GMAT is a 760. Your work experience at a top consulting firm is impeccable. Your extracurriculars show leadership and impact. You are, on paper, the perfect candidate. They're excited. They turn to your "Why Kellogg?" essay ready to be blown away. And they read this. Kellogg is a premier institution known for its collaborative culture and world-class marketing curriculum. I am drawn to its distinguished faculty, such as Professor Mohan Bursoni, and its vibrant student life. I believe the Kellogg MBA will provide me with the skills necessary to achieve my long-term career goals. And just like that, the excitement evaporates. The file gets placed on the maybe pile. Why? Because that paragraph is the application equivalent of a limp handshake. It's a beautifully wrapped empty box. You could replace Kellogg with Booth, Sloan, or Haas, change one professor's name, and the essay would still make sense. And that is the kiss of death. This mistake is born from a fundamental misunderstanding of the essay's purpose. Applicants think the goal is to flatter the school. They treat it like a first date where they just list all the things they find attractive about the other person. You have a great reputation. Your campus is beautiful. Everyone says you're really collaborative. It's nice, but it's utterly generic. The admissions committee already knows they're a great school. They don't need you to tell them that. What they need to know is why they are the perfect, uniquely suited school for you, and what you will uniquely bring to them. The generic essay tells them you haven't done the real work. It signals that you're either lazy, not that interested, or you're just shotgunning applications to every school in the top 10, hoping one sticks. Top MBA programs are not looking for a transaction. They are building a community, a class, a family, for lack of a better word. They are looking for people who are not just going to consume resources, but who are going to contribute, who are going to enrich the classroom discussions, who are going to lead clubs with passion, and who will become fiercely loyal alumni. Your "Why this school?" essay is your primary evidence that you understand this covenant. So how do you avoid this trap? You have to go beyond the brochure. You have to move past the surface-level information that every single other applicant has access to. Your research needs to be so deep, so specific, that your essay could only be written about that one school. Let's build a framework for this. Think of it as a 3-level research gauntlet. Level 1 is the basics. This is the school's website, the official viewbook, the admissions blog, and their social media channels. You have to do this. This is where you learn about the core curriculum, the main concentrations, and the names of the big, famous clubs and centers. 90% of applicants stop here. They find a few keywords they like: collaborative culture, data analytics focus, experiential learning, and they sprinkle them into their essay. This is what leads to the generic, forgettable result. Level 2 is where you start to separate yourself. This is the deep dive. You aren't just looking at the course catalog. You're finding the actual syllabus for a specific class that excites you. You're reading the professor's latest published research paper. You're not just noting the existence of the Venture Capital Club. You're going to the club's own website, reading their student blog posts, and finding out about the specific workshops they ran last semester, or the guest speakers they hosted. You're watching hours of YouTube videos from student panels or club events. You're digging for the details that reveal the true texture of the school, the stuff that doesn't make it into the glossy marketing materials. Maybe you discover a niche, student-run conference on social impact investing, or a specific global immersion trip to Rwanda that aligns perfectly with your background in international development. These are the unique connection points you're looking for. But Level 3 is the gold standard. This is human intelligence. This is where you talk to people, real people. You need to connect with current students and recent alumni. And I don't mean just one. I mean 5, 6, 10 people if you can. Use LinkedIn, ask the admissions office to connect you, attend virtual information sessions, and actually stay for the student breakout rooms. When you talk to them, don't ask generic questions like, "What's the culture like?" Everyone asks that. Ask specific, insightful questions. Ask a second year in the tech club. "I saw on the club site you organized a trek to Austin last year. What was the biggest surprise from visiting those startups? And how did it change your perspective on B2B SaaS?" Ask a recent alum who went into consulting. Which specific class or experience at Fuqua best prepared you for the case interviews? And what was it about that experience that was so effective? These conversations give you two invaluable things. First, you get stories, language, and details that you can't find anywhere else. You'll learn about the inside jokes, the beloved traditions, the one-of-a-kind professor who holds informal office hours at the campus pub. These are the details that bring your essay to life and prove your interest is genuine. Second, you can actually name drop, but in a meaningful way. Look at the difference. The generic essay says, "I am excited to join the consulting club." The Level 3 essay says, "After speaking with second-year student Jane Doe, I was particularly inspired by her initiative to create a caseathon competition within the consulting club. My experience running similar competitions for my analyst class at my current firm would allow me to step in immediately and help her successor scale the event, potentially creating a new interschool rivalry with Darden." Do you see the power in that? You've demonstrated initiative. You've identified a specific opportunity. You've shown exactly how you'll contribute from day one. And you've proven you've done your homework in a way that no one else has. Once you have this deep, specific research, you can structure your essay using a simple but powerful formula. Me plus you equals us. First, the me. This is a very brief reminder of your specific, unique goal. My goal is to transition from software engineering into product management, specifically focusing on AI-powered healthcare diagnostics. Next, the you. This is the core of the essay. This is where you connect your deep research directly to your goal. Don't just list things. Forge a link. Instead of saying, "I want to take Professor Smith's class," say, "Professor Smith's course, AI in Medicine, is the only program I've found that directly tackles the FDA approval process for machine learning algorithms, which is the single biggest hurdle I will face in my career." Instead of saying, "I'm interested in the healthcare club," say, "The healthcare club's annual case competition, sponsored by Johnson & Johnson, provides the perfect real-world laboratory to apply the frameworks from Professor Smith's class. I plan to lead a team and focus on a diagnostic tool for early-stage Alzheimer's, a disease that has personally affected my family." Finally, the us. This is the synthesis. It's the future. How will this combination of you and the school create a powerful outcome? By combining my technical background with the hands-on business and regulatory acumen I'll gain through Professor Smith's course and the healthcare club, I will be uniquely positioned to launch a company that solves this problem. I plan to develop this business plan through the school's Venture Accelerator, and as an alumnus, I will return to campus to recruit the next generation of product leaders, creating a pipeline of talent back to the school. That is an argument. It's a pitch. It's a story of a partnership. It's specific, it's compelling, And it could not possibly be written about any other school. You're not just saying you want to attend, you're showing them the empty seat in their classroom that has your name on it, and you're explaining exactly why no one else could fill it as well as you can. So before you write a single word of your why this school essay, throw out the brochure. Close the main admissions webpage. Go deep. Talk to people. Find the specific, unique intersections between your story and their story. Because the best applicants don't just prove they are qualified for the school, they prove the school is uniquely qualified for them. But even if you craft the world's most perfect, specific, and compelling why our school essay, there's another story that has to be just as convincing, if not more so. It's the story of your own future. And this is where so many applicants, even brilliant ones, present a vision that is either hopelessly vague or completely unbelievable, leading to our sixth major mistake, the unconvincing career goals essay. This is the essay where the admissions committee, or AdCom, essentially asks you, so what's the plan? It's your why in MBA, why now, and why here, all rolled into one. It's the North Star of your entire application. Every other piece, your GMAT score, your work experience, your letters of recommendation, they all serve as evidence that you are capable of executing the plan you lay out in this essay. If the plan itself doesn't make sense, the rest of your application, no matter how stellar, becomes a collection of impressive but irrelevant facts. The unconvincing career goals essay typically fails in one of two spectacular ways. The first is what I call the vague dreamer. This is the applicant who writes, my short-term goal is to transition into a leadership role in the tech industry. My long-term goal is to be a C-suite executive at a Fortune 500 company and drive innovation. Now, on the surface, that sounds fine, right? Sounds ambitious. But to an admissions officer who has read 10,000 of these, it's the equivalent of a blank page. Which part of the tech industry? Are we talking SaaS, hardware, fintech, health tech, B2B, B2C? What kind of leadership role? Product management, corporate strategy, business development, marketing? What kind of innovation? And why do you need a $200,000 MBA from this specific school to do it? This vagueness signals one of two things to the AdCom, and neither is good. It either signals that you haven't done your homework, that you have a fuzzy, romanticized notion of what a post-MBA career looks like. Or worse, it signals that you're just telling them what you think they want to hear. It's a generic, risk-averse answer that lacks any real personality, passion, or conviction. It's a stock photo of a career goal. The second, and perhaps more fatal failure, is the unrealistic leap. This is the applicant who wants to go from being a high school music teacher to a venture capital partner investing in biotech. Or the marketing coordinator at a regional nonprofit who wants to become a managing director in Goldman Sachs investment banking division 2 years after graduation. Now let me be clear. Ambition is fantastic. MBA programs are looking for people who want to change the world. But there's a massive difference between ambition and fantasy. The unrealistic leap demonstrates a profound lack of self-awareness and a misunderstanding of how these highly structured industries actually work. You don't just waltz into a partner track role at a top PE firm. There are established feeder roles, a required skill set, and a career progression that an MBA alone, even from Harvard or Stanford, cannot magically bypass. When an AdCom sees this, they don't think, wow, what a dreamer. They think, this person is unemployable. They see a massive risk. Their primary goal after admitting a great class is to ensure their graduates get great jobs. It's how they maintain their rankings and the value of their brand. An applicant with an unrealistic career plan is a threat to their employment statistics. They're not just rejecting you, they're protecting their institution. So how do you avoid these traps? How do you craft a career goals essay that is both ambitious and believable? It starts with specificity and logic. You need to connect the dots for them. Your past, your present, and your future need to form a coherent, compelling narrative. Your career goals should feel like the inevitable next chapter of your story, not a random plot twist. Let's tackle the vague dreamer first. The antidote is research and introspection. Instead of a leadership role in tech, you need to get granular. A powerful goal statement sounds like this. My short-term goal is to secure a senior product manager role at a growth stage fintech company, like Stripe or Chime, that is focused on financial inclusion. I want to leverage my background in software engineering to lead a team developing products that provide access to fair credit for underserved populations. Do you see the difference? It's specific. It names companies. It identifies a function, product manager, and a mission, financial inclusion. It even subtly connects to a past skill, software engineering. This shows the AdCom you've done the work. You understand the industry, you know the players, and you have a clear vision for where you fit. Your long-term goal should then build logically on this. For instance, long-term, I aspire to leverage my experience as a product leader to found my own venture-backed company that uses blockchain technology to create transparent and accessible financial systems for developing nations. The short-term goal gives you the industry experience and leadership skills. The long-term goal is the culmination of that journey. It's a logical progression. One step enables the next. Now let's fix the unrealistic leap. This is trickier. It requires you to build a credible bridge. If you're making a significant career pivot, you cannot ignore the chasm between where you are and where you want to go. You must acknowledge it head-on and then meticulously explain how the MBA is the specific set of materials you will use to build the bridge, plank by plank. Let's take our music teacher who wants to get into venture capital. A failing essay would just state the goal. A winning essay would say something like this. While my background as a music teacher may seem unconventional for a career in venture capital, it has provided me with a unique foundation in identifying and nurturing nascent talent, managing complex stakeholder relationships with parents and administrators, and operating with extreme resource constraints. However, I recognize I have a significant gap in the quantitative and financial modeling skills that are the bedrock of investment analysis. This is precisely why I need an MBA from Chicago Booth. I plan to build my quantitative toolkit through courses like Professor Kaplan's Entrepreneurial Finance and Private Equity, and participate in the venture capital investment competition to gain hands-on experience in due diligence and deal sourcing. Furthermore, I will leverage the Polsky Center for Entrepreneurship to connect with student founders, offering my skills in mentorship while simultaneously learning to identify the patterns of successful early-stage ventures. My MBA at Booth is not just a degree. It is the essential bridge from my past in developing human potential to my future in funding technological potential. This is a masterpiece of self-awareness. It acknowledges the gap. It reframes past experiences to highlight transferable skills. Most importantly, it connects the dots directly to the specific resources of that particular school. You aren't just saying you need an MBA, you're explaining why you need their MBA. You've named professors, classes, and campus centers. You've shown them you've done your homework not just on the industry but on them. This brings up the final crucial element that ties it all together, the why this school component. This cannot be an afterthought. It cannot be a generic sentence about a world-class faculty or a diverse student body. That's a copy-paste job and they will see right through it. You need to create a mosaic of fit. Research specific clubs you want to lead, specific courses you need to take, specific professors you want to study with, and specific programs like an international trek or a leadership development program that are critical to your plan. Then you weave these elements throughout your essay. Your career goal isn't just a destination. It's a journey, and the school is your indispensable partner and map for that journey. Your story needs to be so tailored to their school that it wouldn't make sense anywhere else. They need to read your essay and think, wow, this applicant not only has a clear, exciting, and achievable plan, but they truly understand our culture and our resources. They belong here. We are the only place that can get them where they want to go. When you achieve that level of specificity, logic, and personalization, your career goals essay transforms. It ceases to be a simple answer to a question. It becomes a powerful, convincing proposal for a partnership between you and the business school. A partnership to build your future. And while that proposal for your future is critical, the evidence for your potential lies in your past. The career goals essay is the what and the where. But the most compelling, most memorable, and most human part of your application answers a different question entirely. It answers who. Who are you? What are you made of? What drives you? This is the domain of the personal essay, and it's where we find our next catastrophic mistake. Confusing a story with the summary. Almost every top business school will ask you a question designed to get at the core of your character. It might be, what matters most to you and why? Or, describe a time you faced a significant challenge. Or, tell us about a time you made a lasting impact. The prompts vary, but the objective is the same. They want to see the person behind the stats. They want a story. And what do most applicants give them? A resume in paragraph form. This is the cardinal sin of the personal essay. Telling, not showing. The applicant writes, I am a resilient and innovative leader who thrives under pressure. Okay, says who? You? That's not evidence. That's a claim. It's a hollow summary of virtues. It has all the emotional impact of a grocery list. The admissions committee reads this and their eyes glaze over. They've read that exact sentence or a slight variation of it 100 times that day. It tells them nothing unique about you. The mistake is rooted in a fundamental misunderstanding of what the school is looking for. They are not looking for a perfect person. They are not looking for a superhero who has never failed. In fact, an application that presents a flawless, sanitized version of a candidate is a major red flag. It shows a lack of self-awareness. They are looking for someone who is authentic, reflective, and capable of growth. And growth, by its very definition, is born from challenge, from friction, from failure. So how do you fix this? You stop summarizing your greatness, and you start telling a story that demonstrates it. You don't tell them you're a leader. You tell them about the 2 a.m. server crash 2 days before the product launch, when your team was exhausted and demoralized. You don't just say what you did. You describe the scene. You paint a picture. You talk about the look on your junior engineer's face, the palpable tension in the room. You talk about the moment you realized that barking orders wasn't going to work. You talk about the decision to scrap the tactical plan for 10 minutes to order pizzas, and to simply ask each person, "How are we, really?" You talk about how that small human act shifted the energy, how it reminded everyone they were a team, not just a collection of employees. And then you talk about how, together, you solved the problem. See the difference? The first version is a claim. I am a leader. The second is a story. It shows leadership in action. It shows empathy. It shows situational awareness. It shows a human being navigating a complex, high-stakes situation. One is forgettable. The other is unforgettable. To build these powerful stories, you need to go beyond the typical frameworks. Many of you have heard of the STAR method for answering behavioral questions: situation, task, action, result. It's a decent starting point, but for an MBA essay, it's tragically incomplete. It describes what happened, but it fails to explain why it matters. The version you need to use is STAR-R. The final R stands for reflection. This is the secret ingredient. This is where the magic happens. After you've laid out the situation, the task, the action, and the result, you must ask yourself the most important questions. What did I learn from this? How did this experience change my perspective? What assumptions did I have that were proven wrong? How will I carry this lesson forward into my time at Stanford or Wharton or Harvard, and into my career beyond? The reflection is what transforms a simple anecdote into a compelling narrative of personal growth. Let's go back to our 2 a.m. server crash. The result was, we fixed the servers and launched the product on time. Fine. But the reflection? That's where the gold is. The reflection might sound something like this. In the end, we launched the product successfully. But my key takeaway wasn't about crisis management protocols or technical debugging. It was about the nature of leadership itself. I went into that situation believing a leader's job in a crisis was to be the unwavering general, directing troops with cold, hard logic. I came out of it understanding that a leader's first job is to manage the emotional state of the team. It's not about having all the answers. It's about creating an environment of psychological safety where the team can find the answers together. That night taught me that true leadership isn't about being the strongest person in the room. It's about making everyone in the room stronger. This is the perspective on collaborative leadership I hope to bring to the study groups and clubs at your school. Now that is an answer. It shows maturity. It shows humility. It demonstrates a deep capacity for self-assessment and learning. It connects a past experience directly to the applicant's future potential. As a member of the MBA community, it tells the admissions committee not just what you did, but who you are and, more importantly, who you are becoming. Your goal in the personal essay is to make the admissions officer feel something. You want them to nod their head, to feel a connection, to root for you. You can't achieve that by listing your accomplishments. You achieve it by being vulnerable. Don't be afraid to tell a story about a time you were wrong, time you were scared, time you failed. But don't just tell the story of the failure. Tell the story of what happened after. How did you recover? What did you build from the ashes? The comeback is always a better story than the victory. Think about the best movies you've ever seen. The main character is never the one who has it all figured out from the beginning. The hero is the one who gets knocked down, who faces a deep-seated fear, who has to overcome a personal flaw, and who emerges on the other side changed. You are the hero of your own story. Don't write a boring movie. So, when you sit down to write your personal essays, banish summary words from your mind. Don't tell them you're creative. Describe the unconventional solution you devised when your budget was slashed by 80%. Don't tell them you're globally minded. Tell the story of the mistake you made because of a cultural misunderstanding on your first international assignment and what you learned from it about humility and active listening. Every impressive resume has a story behind it. Every line item about a promotion, a project, or an award is just the tip of the iceberg. The essay is your chance to show them what's beneath the surface. The struggle, the late nights, the breakthrough, the human connection, the lesson learned. That's your story. That's who you are. And showing them that, with honesty and vulnerability, is infinitely more powerful than simply telling them you're great. These stories are the soul of your application. They provide the color, the context, and the character that elevate you from a number on a spreadsheet to a living, breathing person they want to meet. And once they feel like they know you from your writing, the next step is to actually meet you. The interview. For many, this is the most nerve-wracking part of the entire process. It's the final gateway. You've survived the GMAT, you've poured your soul into the essays, you've secured glowing recommendations. Now you have to prove you're the real deal. And this is where so many incredibly qualified candidates stumble, not because they aren't smart or accomplished, but because they fall victim to a handful of critical and entirely avoidable mistakes. The first and most common mistake is treating the MBA interview like a job interview. They are fundamentally different beasts. A job interview is designed to answer one primary question. Can you do this specific job? It's about skills, qualifications, and direct experience. An MBA interview is asking something much broader, much more personal. Who are you, and will you be a valuable addition to our community for the next 2 years and our alumni network for the next 50? When you're interviewing for a senior analyst role, they want to know if you can build a financial model in your sleep. When you're interviewing for Harvard Business School, they want to know how you think, how you lead, how you collaborate, and what unique perspective you bring to a case discussion about a struggling company. It's a conversation, not an interrogation. The interviewer isn't a hiring manager with a checklist. They're a gatekeeper to a community. They're looking for intellectual curiosity, humility, and genuine passion. If you walk in with a stiff, rehearsed, "Here are my 3 greatest strengths" attitude, you've already lost. They aren't trying to fill a role. They're trying to build a class. A vibrant, diverse, and dynamic class. Your job isn't to prove you're the most qualified candidate in the world. It's to prove you're the most interesting, insightful, and collaborative person they'll speak to all day. This leads directly to the second major mistake: not having your story dialed in. And I don't just mean having an answer to why an MBA. I mean having a narrative that is so compelling, so logical, and so authentic that it's undeniable. This narrative must seamlessly connect your past, your present, and your future. It's the why trifecta. Why an MBA? Why now? And most importantly, why this school? Your answer can't be a generic, "I want to pivot into product management and Stanford has a great tech ecosystem." That's what 10,000 other people are saying. You need to go deeper. What specific experience in your past sparked this desire to pivot? Was it a project where you saw a communication breakdown between engineering and marketing that cost the company millions? Did you realize your passion wasn't just in executing the plan, but in defining the product vision itself? That's your past. Why now? Why can't you make this pivot without an MBA? You must articulate the specific gaps in your skill set or network that only a top-tier MBA program can fill. I need to develop a stronger foundation in strategic marketing frameworks and learn how to lead cross-functional teams in a high-growth environment. That's your present need. And finally, why this school? This is where the real research pays off. Mentioning specific professors and their research, like, "I'm incredibly excited to take Professor Smith's class on platform strategy because her work on network effects directly applies to the B2B marketplace I want to build." Talk about specific clubs. Leading a team in the venture capital investment competition at Booth would give me the hands-on deal sourcing experience I lack. Name alumni you've spoken to and what you learned from them. Your goal is to show them that you haven't just applied to a brand. You have meticulously researched their unique program and have a concrete plan for how you will leverage its specific resources to achieve your specific goals. It proves you're not just a tourist. You're ready to be a citizen of their community. The third mistake is fumbling the behavioral questions. These are the classic "tell me about a time when" questions. Tell me about a time you failed. Tell me about a time you had a conflict with a team member. Tell me about a time you led a team through a difficult project. Most applicants prepare for these by simply having a story ready. But a story isn't enough. Top candidates don't just tell a story, they reveal a lesson. The standard framework for these questions is the STAR method. situation, task, action, result. And it's a good start. But top-tier applicants add a crucial fifth letter, R, for reflection. After you explain the result, you must explain what you learned. How did that experience change you as a person, a leader, or a professional? Don't just say, "We had a conflict, I set up a meeting, we talked it out, and the project was successful." Go further. The situation taught me that my initial assumption, that everyone was motivated by the same project goals, was naive. I learned the importance of understanding individual motivations, and that true leadership isn't about giving directives, it's about building consensus by aligning personal incentives with the team's objectives. Since then, I always start major projects with one-on-one conversations to understand what each person hopes to gain from the experience. See the difference? One is a report of events. The other is a demonstration of self-awareness, maturity, and growth. That's what they're buying. The fourth mistake is perhaps the most subtle, but also the most deadly: failing the airport test. The airport test is simple. After the interview is over, the interviewer subconsciously asks themselves, "If my flight was delayed for 6 hours, would I want to be stuck in the airport with this person?" Are you someone who is engaging, curious, and genuinely pleasant to talk to? Or are you arrogant, robotic, or negative? You can have a 780 GMAT and a flawless resume, but if you come across as someone who would be a drain on the energy of a study group, you're done. This isn't about being an extrovert. It's about being authentic and showing genuine interest in the person across from you. Listen actively. Ask thoughtful questions. Not just questions you think you're supposed to ask, but questions you are genuinely curious about. Your questions reveal as much about you as your answers. Asking, "What's the one thing you would change about the program?" shows critical thinking. Asking, "I read about your experience launching the new data analytics club. What was the biggest challenge you didn't see coming?" shows you've done your research and you're capable of a real conversation. Let your personality come through. Share a brief, relevant anecdote. Smile. It's a human-to-human interaction. The goal is connection, not just perfection. Finally, the fifth mistake is not preparing for the specific type of interview you're walking into. Not all MBA interviews are created equal. Is it a blind interview where the interviewer has only seen your resume, or is it non-blind where they have your entire application file? A blind interview, common at schools like HBS and Kellogg, means you need to reestablish your entire narrative from scratch. A non-blind interview means they already know your story, so they'll be digging deeper, looking for inconsistencies, and asking clarifying questions about your essays. Is your interview with an admissions officer or an alumnus? An AdCom interview might be more structured and focused on the school's core values. An alumni interview might be more casual and conversational, focusing more on fit and your career goals. Then you have the wild cards like the Wharton team-based discussion, where you're evaluated not on your individual answers, but on your ability to contribute to a group and move a team towards a common goal. Walking into a Wharton TBD with the mindset of a one-on-one interview is a recipe for disaster. Each format requires a different strategy, a different approach, and a different kind of preparation. Knowing the rules of the game before you sit down at the table is half the battle. Ultimately, the interview is where your paper application comes to life. It's the final crucial data point that tells the admissions committee whether the impressive person they read about on paper is someone they, and their future classmates, will actually want to spend 2 years with. It's your chance to turn a black and white application into a full-color, three-dimensional human being. But even a perfect interview doesn't always lead to an immediate yes. Sometimes you land in a place no one wants to be, the waitlist. And navigating that limbo is an art form in itself. The waitlist feels like the ultimate application purgatory. It's not a no, but it's definitely not a yes. It's a "we like you, but not enough yet." This is where so many talented applicants make their biggest and final mistakes. The number one mistake by a country mile is treating the waitlist like a soft rejection. It isn't. You have to understand what it means from the admissions committee's perspective. They have a limited number of seats, and they've made their first-round offers. They know with statistical certainty that a certain percentage of those people will decline their offer to go to a different school. The waitlist is their pool of highly qualified, desirable candidates they will draw from to fill those empty seats. They want you. They just have a numbers problem. So, when you get that waitlist notification, your first instinct might be despair. You might think, well, that's it. Time to focus on my other options. And by doing that, you've just taken yourself out of the running. Giving up is the only way to guarantee you won't get in. The second mistake is the polar opposite, but it's born from the same misunderstanding. It's silence. You get the waitlist email, you feel dejected, and you do nothing. You wait. You hope. You cross your fingers and refresh your inbox 1,000 times a day. This is almost as bad as giving up. The admissions committee has put you in a holding pattern, and they are watching to see what you do. Silence is interpreted as a lack of interest. They'll assume you've fallen in love with another school that accepted you and have emotionally moved on. Why would they give a precious spot to someone who seems ambivalent when there are other waitlisted candidates actively fighting for it? You have to signal that you are still 100% committed. The waitlist isn't a passive waiting game. It's an active campaign. This leads us to the third cardinal sin of the waitlist: becoming the overly aggressive, borderline stalker candidate. This is the person who, in a panic, decides that more is more. They email the admissions office every 3 days with a minor update. Just wanted to let you know I finished that report for my boss. They call the front desk asking for a status update. They connect with every single admissions officer on LinkedIn. They send a gift basket. Please do not send a gift basket. This strategy doesn't read as passionate and committed. It reads as lacking professional judgment. Business schools are evaluating your future potential as a leader. How you handle the stress and ambiguity of the waitlist is a massive data point for them. If you can't handle this situation with grace and professionalism, how are you going to handle the pressure of a demanding MBA program or a high-stakes business negotiation? You're not demonstrating passion. You're demonstrating desperation and an inability to read the room. So, what is the right way to navigate this? It's a strategy of what I call professional, patient persistence. Your campaign starts the moment you get the notification. Your very first move should be to write a short, polite email back to the admissions office. Thank them for their continued consideration of your application, and if it's true, emphatically state that their school remains your number one choice. This is critical. AdComs are trying to manage their yield, the percentage of admitted students who actually enroll. If they know you will absolutely say yes, you become a much more attractive candidate to pull from the waitlist. After that initial contact, your next step is to do a deep, honest self-assessment of your application. Get a copy of everything you submitted, your essays, your resume, your data forms, and read it with a cold, critical eye. Where was the weakness? Was your GMAT quant score on the lower end of their 80% range? Were your post-MBA goals a little fuzzy? Did you maybe not have enough examples of leadership? Be brutally honest with yourself. This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about identifying the potential area of concern so you can address it. The AdCom saw something that made them pause. Your job is to figure out what that was and give them new evidence to change their minds. Once you have a hypothesis, your main tool for changing their mind is the waitlist update letter. This is not just a letter saying, "I'm still interested." It is a strategic document that provides new, substantive information to strengthen your candidacy. It should be a one-page, professionally formatted letter. It starts by, once again, briefly reaffirming your commitment and naming their school as your top choice. Then you get to the updates. This is the core of the letter. What has changed since you applied? Did you get a promotion? Were you given leadership of a new, high-impact project? Did you complete a major deal or launch a new product? Have you taken on a new leadership role in a volunteer organization? These are powerful updates. Perhaps the most powerful update of all is addressing a quantitative weakness. If you suspect your GMAT or GRE was the issue, retake the test. A 20 or 30-point score increase can be the single most effective thing you do to get off the waitlist. If retaking the test isn't feasible, enroll in a college-level quantitative course online, like calculus, statistics, or accounting, and get an A. This directly tells the admissions committee, "I understand my quantitative profile was a potential concern, and I have proactively taken steps to prove I can handle the academic rigor of your program." You don't even have to say, "My quant was weak." You just present the new positive data point. The update letter is your chance to show, not just tell. You've accomplished something new, you've learned something new, you've improved a skill. You should also use this letter to subtly reinforce your fit with the school. Maybe you've had a recent coffee chat with a current student or an alumnus in a club you're passionate about. You can briefly mention this, saying something like, "My recent conversation with Jane Doe, a second year in the tech club, further solidified my excitement about contributing to your school's vibrant tech community." It shows you're still engaged and doing your homework. The cadence of this communication matters. You send one strong update letter shortly after being waitlisted. Then you wait. Unless you have another truly significant update like a major promotion, you should not be contacting them again for at least a month or two. Quality over quantity is the rule. One powerful, well-crafted update is worth more than 10 emails about minor daily tasks. Another powerful but more advanced move is to submit one additional letter of recommendation. This is not from one of your original recommenders. This should be from someone new, someone who can speak to a recent accomplishment. For instance, if you got that promotion, a letter from your new direct supervisor would be incredibly effective. It validates the new achievement you wrote about in your update letter. Ultimately, the waitlist is a test of your resilience. It's a psychological game. You need to stay positive, stay proactive, and demonstrate the kind of mature, professional judgment they expect from their students. You have to give them a reason to pick you, and every single communication you have with them is an opportunity to do just that. You are showing them in real time how you handle uncertainty and how you advocate for something you want. It's your final interview conducted over several weeks or months. By avoiding the traps of panic, passivity, or pestering, and instead executing a patient, professional, and strategic campaign, you can turn that maybe into a definitive yes. But getting that yes isn't the end of the road. In fact, after all that work, after securing acceptances, applicants often make the most consequential mistake of all, a mistake that can shape the entire trajectory of their career and financial future. And it happens after the good news arrives. The mistake is treating the acceptance letter as a finish line. In reality, it's the starting gun for your first, and potentially most important negotiation of your entire MBA experience. It's the failure to advocate for yourself when you have the most leverage you will ever have with that institution. I'm talking about negotiating your financial aid. You see, after months, maybe years of grinding away at the GMAT, rewriting essays until your eyes blur, and sweating through interviews, you finally get that call. The email lands. You're in. You've been accepted to Harvard or Stanford or Wharton. The wave of relief and euphoria is overwhelming. Your immediate instinct is pure gratitude. You feel like they've done you a massive favor, that you've won the lottery. And in that emotional, vulnerable state, you rush to click accept, lock in your spot, buy the university sweatshirt, and tell the world. And that, right there, can be a $100,000 mistake. Or more. Because what you feel is gratitude, the school feels is a business transaction. Top MBA programs are not just academic institutions. They are multi-$100 million enterprises competing fiercely for a very specific asset. You. They are in a battle for talent. Your GMAT score, your work experience, your unique story. All of these things factor into their rankings, their brand, and their appeal to future applicants. When they accept you, they want you to enroll. Their entire admissions model is built around predicting and influencing yield, the percentage of admitted students who actually say yes. And they have a budget set aside specifically to make sure the candidates they want the most choose them. Failing to understand this dynamic is like walking into a car dealership and paying the full sticker price in cash without even asking if there's any wiggle room. You're leaving a life-changing amount of money on the table simply because you were too grateful, too intimidated, or too uninformed to ask. Let me make this real for you. Consider two applicants. Let's call them Sarah and David. Both are fantastic candidates, nearly identical on paper. Both get into their dream school, let's say Columbia Business School. And both also get into a peer school, NYU Stern. Columbia offers both of them a small token scholarship of $25,000. NYU, trying to lure them away, offers both of them a much larger scholarship of $100,000. Sarah is ecstatic. She got into Columbia. That was the dream all along. She sees the $25,000 scholarship as a wonderful bonus. She immediately accepts the offer, pays her deposit, and starts planning her move to Morningside Heights. She's taking on nearly $200,000 in loans, but she figures that's just the cost of a top-tier MBA. David sees the exact same situation but through a different lens. He's thrilled about Columbia, but he sees the acceptance not as a gift, but as an invitation to a conversation. He doesn't accept immediately. Instead, he picks up the phone. He calls the admissions office at Columbia. He is incredibly polite, respectful, and enthusiastic. He says, "I cannot tell you how honored and excited I am to be admitted to Columbia. It is, without a doubt, my number one choice and where I believe I can make the biggest impact. I am fully prepared to enroll. However, I'm in a very challenging position. I was also fortunate enough to be accepted to NYU Stern, and they've offered me a $100,000 scholarship. As you can imagine, that's a significant difference that would dramatically impact my post-MBA career choices. My heart is at Columbia, and I would choose it in a second if the financial picture were more comparable. I was wondering if there is any possibility of reconsidering my financial aid award. What do you think happens next? 9 times out of 10, the admissions officer doesn't say, "How dare you?" They say, "Thank you for letting us know. Let me see what I can do." A week later, David gets a revised offer from Columbia. They've increased his scholarship from $25,000 to $90,000. Think about that. For the price of one uncomfortable 5-minute phone call, David changed his financial future. He is now $65,000 richer than Sarah. But it's not just $65,000. With interest on student loans, that difference could easily swell to over $100,000 over the next decade. And the impact goes even deeper. After graduation, Sarah is saddled with enormous debt. She feels immense pressure to take the highest-paying job she can get, likely in investment banking or consulting, just to service her loans. She might have had a passion for starting her own company or joining a social impact venture, but that path now feels financially irresponsible, a luxury she can't afford. David, with his much lighter debt burden, has options. He has freedom. He can afford to take a lower-paying job at a tech startup he's passionate about. He can afford to take a risk, to pursue a dream that isn't dictated solely by salary. That single phone call didn't just save him money. It bought him career flexibility for the rest of his life. Sarah made the mistake of gratitude. David understood the art of the ask. So how do you do this? First, when you get that acceptance, breathe. Celebrate. But do not click accept. Thank them profusely and ask for the deadline by which you need to make a decision. This gives you time to think and strategize. Second, consolidate your leverage. The best leverage is, of course, a better scholarship offer from a peer school. A peer school is key. If you're trying to negotiate with Harvard, an offer from a school ranked 40th won't move the needle. But an offer from Wharton or Stanford will. If you don't have a competing offer, you can still make a case based on financial need or by powerfully restating your case and why you believe you merit a scholarship based on your unique contributions to the class. Third, craft your communication carefully. Whether it's an email or a phone call, the tone is everything. You are not making a demand. You are sharing a dilemma. You are humble, grateful, and completely sold on their school. You are simply asking for their help to make the finances work. Frame it as a partnership. Help me make my dream of attending your school a reality. Fourth, be prepared for them to say no. Sometimes the budget is spent. Sometimes they don't have room to move. But here's the secret. They will never ever rescind your offer for asking politely. The absolute worst case scenario is that you're in the exact same position you were in before you asked. There is literally no downside, only a potentially life-altering upside. This single act of self-advocacy is the perfect capstone to your entire application journey. The MBA process from start to finish is an exercise in demonstrating your value. You do it in your essays when you articulate your vision. You do it in your interview when you showcase your poise and intelligence. And you do it here at the very end by professionally and respectfully negotiating for what you are worth. It proves to the school, and more importantly to yourself, that you are not just a passive recipient of good fortune. You are an active agent in your own career. A future business leader who understands that value is not just given, it's communicated and negotiated. So as we close this series, I want you to reframe your thinking. Avoiding these common mistakes, from having a weak why, to writing generic essays, to botching the interview, and finally to fumbling the financial negotiation, isn't just about getting into a top school. It's about arriving on campus on day one fully prepared, financially sound, and with the unshakable confidence that you truly belong there, because you earned your place every step of the way. You didn't just win the lottery. You ran the race, you fought the fight, and you negotiated the terms of your own success. That is the foundation upon which great careers are built. The application is now officially over. Your journey as a leader is just beginning. If this series has given you the clarity and confidence to tackle this monumental journey, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We break down complex career and education decisions like this every single week. And I have a question for you. What was the single biggest aha moment or most valuable lesson you learned from this entire series? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one, and your insights help this entire community grow stronger. Thank you for watching. Now go make it happen.